Welcome to the WorldWire Update. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. In a stunning move, Mexico announced a 50% tariff on Chinese automobiles and ended tariff breaks for electric vehicles from countries without a free trade agreement. This caught the US and Canada off guard, as Mexico had long been seen as a passive player in North American trade. Suddenly, Mexico was asserting its economic independence, taking action without direct US pressure. The US, frustrated by Chinese companies using Mexico as a backdoor, now faced a Mexico acting on its own terms. Canada, which had just imposed its own tariffs on Chinese EVs, was equally surprised by Mexico's boldness. This move reset the balance of power in North American trade, transforming Mexico from a conduit for Chinese goods into a gatekeeper. The era of predictable North American trade is over. Mexico is now a major force shaping the continent's economic future. To understand Mexico's move, you need to know what a tariff is: a tax on imported goods, making them more expensive and less competitive. By raising tariffs on Chinese cars, Mexico is protecting its own industries and aligning with US and Canadian trade priorities. Tariffs can shield local jobs, but also raise prices for consumers and manufacturers, especially in industries with global supply chains like autos. When tariffs hit, costs ripple through the system. Higher prices for parts mean higher prices for finished cars. Mexico's decision is a calculated risk. It aims to block Chinese competition but could also raise costs for its own auto sector. The move is about more than just cars. It's about Mexico navigating between Chinese competition and American protectionism. Tariffs are a blunt tool, and using them means walking a fine line between economic defense and self-inflicted pain. Mexico is betting it can protect its market without derailing its own growth. China has long sought ways to bypass US tariffs, and Mexico became its preferred backdoor. Chinese companies shipped parts to Mexico, assembled them into cars, and exported them tariff-free to the US under the USMCA. This tariff circumvention led to a surge in Chinese investment in Mexican factories, especially for electric vehicles. US imports of Chinese auto parts dropped, but Mexico's imports from China soared by over 90%. Chinese automakers like BYD and Geely saw Mexico as a launch pad into the North American market. Mexico's new tariffs slam that door shut, signaling it won't be a pawn in the US-China trade war. President Sheinbaum's government is asserting control, protecting its US relationship, and redefining its industrial policy. For Chinese firms, the North American market just got a lot harder to access. Mexico's move fundamentally changes the game for global automakers. The message is clear. Mexico is no longer just a transit point, it's a power broker. Facing US protectionism, Mexico and Canada have formed a new alliance, coordinating their trade strategies for the first time. Both countries impose steep tariffs on Chinese EVs, presenting a united front against tariff circumvention and US unpredictability. Their leaders, Sheinbaum and Carney, pledged deeper economic and security ties, preparing for the critical 2026 USMCA review. This partnership means the US can no longer play Mexico and Canada against each other. Now, a tariff threat to one is a threat to both, shifting the power dynamics in North America. By harmonizing policies and sharing information, they're strengthening their negotiating position. The alliance is a strategic masterstroke, making North American trade more balanced and resilient. As the USMCA review approaches, this unity is their best defense against both Chinese competition and US pressure. The message to Washington: North America works best when all three thought nor das granat neid gan tauer dobel bau but power Tariffs aren't just political. They hit your wallet. When governments tax imported cars or parts, those costs get passed to consumers, raising sticker prices. US tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminum have already added thousands to the cost of electric vehicles. If the US imposes a 25% tariff on all imported autos and parts, even American-made cars will get more expensive due to cross-border supply chains. Analysts warn a $50,000 car could jump to $75,000 or more. Retaliatory tariffs from Mexico and Canada would only make things worse, creating a spiral of rising prices. The dream of affordable EVs slips further away with every new tariff. Tariffs may protect jobs, but they also make cars less affordable for families. The first casualty of trade wars is often the consumer's wallet. The USMCA, North America's trade rulebook, faces a crucial review in July 2026. Any country can trigger a sunset clause, threatening the entire agreement if dissatisfied. The US wants stricter rules to keep Chinese parts out of the supply chain. Mexico and Canada's coordinated tariffs are a preemptive move to address US concerns and show they can police their own imports. Their message: let's enforce the rules we have, not rewrite the whole deal. A smooth review would reassure businesses and protect millions of jobs. But a breakdown could disrupt supply chains and trigger a recession across the continent. Every tariff and negotiation now is a move in this high-stakes game. The future of North American trade and economic stability hangs in the balance. The next 2 years will decide whether the region unites or fractures. The tariff battles are reshaping North America's economy and your daily life. Expect car prices to stay high, with cheap Chinese EVs off the table for now. The push to build supply chains closer to home could mean more jobs, but also higher costs and a tough transition. Mexico and Canada's alliance offers hope for a more stable, unified region. Their cooperation could attract investment and build the industries of the future, if they can avoid a trade war. For consumers, it means paying more attention to where products are made, and likely paying more for them. The era of cheap globalized goods is ending. Economic security and regional cooperation are the new priorities. The choices made before 2020. MCC Krund, Prike RRE. Prosperity for years to come.